Today I want to walk you through how to build a Slack bot from scratch using only Autoblocks as your automation and integration portion of the Slack bot. So let's get started. So let's create a new Slack workspace. Okay, that is created. We're just going to call it Autoblocks test workspace. Let's say 6. And I'm working on a test Slack bot. Yeah, we don't need to do that. Skip this. So now I've got my brand new created Slack space. I can really do whatever I want to with the permissions there and things. I am not going to let it open in my desktop Slack. I want to keep it in the browser. I'm going to go back to the Autoblocks homepage. So that's autoblocks.com up here. Really, before I get started, I would just like to point out that if you are interested in trying this, you can do it for free. One active listener is really what I'm going to be messing with today. The Slack bots webhook is going to really, that's kind of like equivalent to one active listener. So this thing will be listening on that side for every time Slack reaches out and sends information over. So if you want to attempt it, follow along, you're good to stay in the free tier. There's a try it for free button right there. I'm going to click that. I don't need to sign up. I already have an account. So I'm now in Autoblocks, kind of like the actual, the area you do work. So the workspaces, there's connections, there's reporting. I'm going to go ahead and build a connection to Slack. So this is going to handle all my authentication. So managing my new connection, I'm going to call it this. So let me copy and paste that over. Although this name, it can be really anything. So this is going to be my demo test environment. I can put whatever I want here. It's really just for me to identify it later on in the workspace. So I'm going to hit setup and get the instructions. So I just have to kind of follow them top down. I'm going to open this one, visit the Slack API site, and create a new app. So there's one of my existing apps, but I'm going to create this new one from scratch. It's probably going to ask me what I'm doing, so I'll just say this is my, I'll paste in this again, app. And the workspace will be Autoblocks and Test Workspace 6. I see ones there that I have like direct administration over, I think is what's going on there. And I'm going to create an app. And now I've got a lot more options here. I'm going to refer back now to the Autoblocks connection page. And I can choose a name for it. I did that. I should be redirected to basic information and app credentials. So I'm going to scroll down to that bit and search for credentials. There we go. And here's all this stuff. So there's app ID. Let's see, do they need that? Yep. They need client ID. Yep. Client secret and signing secret. Client secret and signing secret. There we go. It says there you won't need the verification token, which is that last section there. So I'm going to go ahead and save and continue. Now I have to add scopes. Again, kind of just top down, follow what they're telling me to do. I'm going to click this open. It says after I open it, I need to go to the scope section here. So navigate to scopes, click the bot tokens, bot token scopes. So I'm going to, it looks like add one there, add no auth scope. And here are all the permissions. So I need team read, chat write, and commands. And luckily I can just copy that in there like this. Copy. Chat write and commands. Okay. Continuing now, and they want me to install it to my workspace now. It is installed. I will allow it. And there we go. Continue. And now I need the bot. Well, token. Let's find that. right here. It's on that page I landed on next. Perfect. There we go. Making sure that is, yeah, OAuth tokens for my workspace. Bot user OAuth token. Perfect. So, luckily I just followed, again, the instructions top down, and it worked out pretty well. All right. And so this is handy here. So this is going to be the endpoint that the webhook should target ultimately. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that and now read through this. I'm copying the URL above, and then depending on what I'm doing, yeah, I have to pick one of these. I'm going to do a slash command. So I'm going to have it, basically we type slash and then a action and then maybe send some data over with it. So I'm going to open that. I'm just opening a new tab, creating a command. And for this, we're going to try the echo command, which is a recipe that's built into, that's a recipe provided with Autoblocks. So here's the request URL. That's going to be what I plug in there, right? So that's this URL is what that is. So that goes in there. Yeah, we'll say echo, and yeah, we don't need that. That's optional, and I think that's good. So I'm going to save it. Cool. And over here, that's done. And I am going to save this connection. I'm going to go over to workspaces and create a new workspace. Going down to the Slack option here on the left. And now I see that I can create a brand new blank workspace, or I can use some of these pre-built ones that are based on like recipes from Autoblocks' team. I'm going to actually pick one here that is the echo command. So I'll just give it a distinct name and save it. And now I can see it's got some pre-built stuff here, some blocks, and some instructions here. So I know that I need to set this up. It's telling me to plug in the Slack connection here, and I can do that here. So what this means is it's listening on that workspace number 6 in my Slack, or my Slack 6 workspace, and then my listener here is for the echo command. So when we do execute that slash echo in Slack now, that webhook should point basically at this item here and then execute this code when it's received. Under here, I've got another little block that is going to need the same workspace there from Slack, and what it does is allows me to reference this workspace in the code itself. So this connections slash Slack string is present here and allows me to have an object to work with in my code. So through these managed APIs and things that have been built by the Autoblocks team, it's importing a Slack, basically a slash command event. So it has kind of like a pre-built structure, and it knows how to interpret those events. So I don't have to manage like the JSON and all that. And then it's also importing this Slack connection, which is going to allow me to do stuff like this. Again, the managed API is then like, I don't have to actually go and write out all of the paths to the REST post. I don't have to throw in the keys and all that. That authorization is already done right through this tool. So my code gets to be just the actual logic of what I'm trying to do, and not tons of authentication stuff. Go back to the main screen here for the workspace. I should be ready to test now. I should be able to go try this echo command in my Slack workspace. So I'm going to try it right here. We'll just say echo hello. And I'm going to go back over to Autoblocks. I'm going to open up the activity log here, and I can see in the console that I did get an error after the initial invocation. It says Slackbot's not in channel. Let's go add that. And I think I can just do this and add my Slackbot to the channel. And now let's try that again. I'm going to say hello, or try echo and say hello. Number 2, hit enter and hop over to Autoblocks. I see that there are a few more actions on the screen here. Another invocation, no error. So what that tells me is that it probably worked. And if I go over to Slack here, I do see that Autoblocks, the app or the bot part of the app, right? It did return the message. So that parameter was received on the Autoblock side and returned. And if I want to get a little more fancy with it here, I can say console log and maybe just output the event here. So let's try this one more time. And I am going to activate it just in case. It often will do this automatically, but it's just like a new deployment of it. So let's try this again, see what it looks like there. And I'll say echo number 3. And let's see what the processing data looks like here. So I see a bunch of stuff in here that's new. It's basically the JSON, the payload that came over from that Slack webhook. For my purposes, what's interesting is it told me the command, it told me the channel name, gave me the response URL. That's more for the actual post, but good to have that in case you do need it for anything. And this is probably the most critical piece, the text. So this is where you start to really see the possibility of what you can do, right? Maybe I wanted to take this text and translate it from one language to another, or maybe I wanted to maybe convert one kind of currency to another, or I don't know, temperatures to other temperatures, miles to kilometers, and all that kinds of stuff. So this is where you can actually execute all that logic in this code here and handle all this within this body. And then ultimately, when you're ready to complete all that, go out to Slack and post your message. So I think ultimately that kind of concludes what I'll call part 1 of this video, or part 1 of this series. This is just a basic kind of hello world proof of concept thing, and I think in the next video we'll get a little more complicated with the Slack integration and see if we can make it do something a little more interesting. But thanks for watching, and I'll post all of the links in the description or in comments or whatever. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to talk about it, and hopefully I can help you out more.